Welcome back to Football Friday. I'm your host, T. White. Let's go. It's week number 3 in the NFL season. Here's 5 things I already know. Don't look now, but the Cardinals are 2-0, and they're heading into a matchup against the 2-0 Eagles that they dominated last year in Philly. Kevin Cobb has inside info on that Eagles defense and that Eagles offense, and the Cardinals defense is on fire right now. Listening to the radio in New York this week, you would think the Giants are 0-3. Relax, people. Even with injuries, the Giants have as much firepower as anybody, and that defense gets after the quarterback as good as anybody in the league. They'll probably have a 3-game losing streak at some point this season, but then they'll turn around and win 4 in a row in January. As great as Tom Brady is, even he gets rattled when the defense is hitting him all day. And last week, them boys from Arizona was on his ass like a Speedo. If that line doesn't get better, like now, then the Ryan Mallett era is going to start sooner than anybody wants it to in New England. Even though nobody wants to admit it, everybody was kind of hoping that somebody outside the SEC wins the BCS this year. USC had the best shot, but they couldn't get past Stanford. Florida State can't throw the football. The best team in the Big Ten, they're not bowl eligible, and the Big 12 teams are just going to knock each other off. Roll Tide. It's no secret that I think Notre Dame is the most overrated, overhyped, old money nostalgia act in the world of college football. They get bumped into the top 25 every time they beat Navy. But this year, for the first time I can remember, Notre Dame actually looks like a quality team. And now that I've said that, I'm sure they'll get crushed by USC. The Jets ran into a desperate and motivated Steelers team last week in Pittsburgh. The replacement refs looked the other way, while the Steelers secondary got their Big Ben on with the Jets' young receivers. Here's 3 things to look for in Week 3 versus Miami. Tony Sparano is not afraid to call shots down the field. But as we've seen, those shots are predicated off of play action. If there's no threat to run, the safeties can just sit back in coverage. For the most part, Mark Sanchez was on point with the football in Sunday's loss. Jeremy Curley needs to do a better job holding on to the football. Stephen Hill has to stop falling down in the middle of his routes. And Mr. $45 million champagne bottle twit pick dropped more passes than he caught. The money down killed the Jets last week on offense and defense. Can Mark Sanchez and company keep the chains moving on 3rd down this week? And will the return of Revis Island be enough to help out the 3rd down defense? By the way, has anybody seen Aaron Maven? That's our show. Thanks for watching. Check back next week for another episode. Share this one with a friend. Follow me on Twitter @SwagOnBlastBlog. I'm T. White. Peace and love.
Swag on blast.